to be comfortable and to
And we are back. Sorry about the tardiness here. Okay. We are all set up. Should we? Where are
Let me get your channel up.
we? All right.
So,
Hope everybody had a fantastic week. And
excuse me.
we did some stuff. It's been a really long day, so I can't guarantee I'm going to have the higher brain function. This movie is not a deep movie. It is not by
No.
any stretch of the imagination an Orwellian is a like Stanley Kubrick masterpiece. You're not going to get anything.
Yeah.
It is a horrible, cheesy, fun movie, and that's what we specialize in here.
I'm also not gonna lie. Out of the movies we reviewed so far, this is the lowest rating I've given a movie so far, and I will also say that this is honestly probably the shittiest movie we've rated so far. Not that it's a bad movie; it's just compared to everything else we've looked at, this is a garbage heap.
So, for those who don't know, Reign of Fire, the only thing carrying this movie is the unbelievably stellar cast.
Yes.
The acting and cast in this are absolutely amazing. Matthew McConaughey, Christian Bale, Gerard Butler. You even get a young Jackie Gleason in it for a small scene.
Really?
Yeah, remember the kid after the fire, and he comes out and he's looking up at the sky and looking around, and that's a young Jackie Gleason from Game of Thrones.
Well, shit, I never knew that.
So many good talents in this, and it is absolutely fantastic. But before we get into this deep review, we got some info to go over here. So it opened in the year of 2002. And 2002 had a lot of box offices. It did.
Yeah, it did.
Return of the King, Lord of the Rings, Two Towers, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, Spider-Man, and Star Wars Episode 3 all opened in
Episode 2.
Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, all in the box office.
We also even had Men in Black 2, which
Men in Black 2, which wasn't great, but it was fun.
Yeah, it was a fun movie. Like, it wasn't as good as the first one, but it was. Also, we had Austin Powers Goldmember, which
if you can, Minority Report, My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Also, the fact that we also had Chicago, which, if you like musicals, Chicago's a fantastic musical.
Scooby-Doo, Austin Powers, Lilo and Stitch, The Bourne Identity,
The Ring,
8 Mile, like Jet Li's Hero, the Santa Claus,
Gangs of New York.
Gangs of New York is fantastic. Santa Claus 2, don't knock it. It's actually really good.
Yeah. Also, Road to Perdition. That's another good movie.
Road to Perdition. Oh, it's one of the best translation to come from comic.
Also, we got Blade 2 in there.
Blade 2. Oh, what else do we got?
Spy Kids 2.
Resident Evil, Insomnia. Have you seen Insomnia?
Yes, that's a good movie.
Oh, that was so good. De Niro and freaking Robin Williams playing crazy.
Mm-hmm. If it's the movie I'm thinking of, The Time Machine was also like cheesy but really good. If it's the movie I'm thinking of,
yeah, I think it was.
Is that the one with like Gerard Butler and stuff?
No, Guy Pearce, I think it was. But yeah.
Was it the one where it's like a bunch of archaeologists and they create a time machine and end up going back to like medieval France or some shit?
No, that's something different. That's based on the Michael Crichton book. This is actually based on God, what's his name? He wrote 20,000. Jules Verne's Time Machine.
Oh, okay. I see Treasure Planet on there. That's a
Treasure Planet. We
movie.
have to review Treasure Planet.
And there's Reign of Fire right underneath it.
Reign of Fire came in 51st that year, and it made a worldwide box office. Made freaking so much money. Let's see.
Oh, I saw Ghost Ship was on that list. Ghost Ship's another phenomenal movie. I love that movie.
I had a Sin Eater storyline based off that. Couldn't find anybody to run it.
Dude, I would love to play in a Sin Eater storyline with that.
I will never run Sin Eater again. The only things I'll run these days are Changeling and whatever. But nope.
I don't blame you. Like, Sin Eater's too complicated.
It's hard to get people into. It's a very niche game. So what was it?
Ghost Ship?
Treasure Planet. Ghost Ship on the list. I'm going to have to get a new notebook soon anyways.
Hell yeah. Anyway, Reign of Fire.
Reign of Fire. In present day London, 12-year-old Quinn watches his mother as his mother wakes an enormous fire-breathing beast from its centuries-long slumber. 20 years later, okay, so we got a time frame now. We were chatting about that. 20 years later, the world has much been scarred, turned to ash. They used nukes to try to wipe them out. It didn't work, and pretty much brought along an apocalypse. And
Also, something I will mention, just because I doubt it'll get mentioned later. Quinn's mother, played by the same actress who played the
Alicia
Borg.
Krieg. Oh,
She
I love Alicia Krieg.
the same actress who played the Borg Queen in multiple Star Trek movies, and
And
she
she
does
was in freaking
phenomenal.
Silent Hill.
Yes, she was the priestess in Silent Hill. She does a phenomenal job, and frankly, they took a phenomenal actress and gave her like the most minimal fucking role because she's on screen for like maybe 5 minutes, and that's such a waste of her talent. Granted, I understand that, like, obviously characters got to die to move story and blah blah blah, but at the same time, it's like you picked this phenomenal fucking actress and
Mm-hmm.
gave her 5 minutes of screen time. What?
Yeah, she was really underrated, but I'll give her this: the fact that she took the role and like she still stood out.
She did. She
And
she
like
did.
she was on the
She did.
scene, she scolded her son and died.
Yeah. Because for chat, for those of you who haven't watched, also just a heads up for you, we're going to be spoiler heavy this episode because this movie's 20 years old. So if you haven't
The
seen it yet, that's
spoilers
on you.
galore.
That's on you. That's not on us.
Yep,
Um.
not our fault.
So like literally, the movie starts with her like elementary or middle-aged school son coming to her workplace. They are working on building a new like
They're working on
underground.
they're working on the underground in London.
Yeah, they're working on the underground in London, aka the subway. They're working on a new tunnel, and they're excavating and digging and all that shit. Um, to the point that a lot of these workers recognize her son on site, and they know him by name, and they let him in
They
into
let him
areas that
in, and
they let him into areas that he probably shouldn't be in. But they're like, oh well, this is my boss's son, or this is my coworker's son, so he can come in. That's fine. And we get to the point where he gives his mother some paperwork he got from his school. Apparently, he had applied for a scholarship for university, and he had been denied. And she basically tells him, like, "You didn't get the scholarship. That was £3,000 a year. We can't afford that." To which he says to her, "Well, maybe Dad can pay." And then she looks at him and he goes, "Sorry." So obviously, this indicates that Dad's probably not in the picture, or at the very least, he's very, very minimally in the
yeah.
picture. Um,
So Quinn, like they're claiming that there's a void while they're drilling through, and she's like, it's impossible. There can't be a void. This has been surveyed thoroughly and everything. Well, there's a void, and she's like, okay, I'll catch up. And Quinn wanders down and talks to the guy. The guy's a shit. He's just a shit. He's an ass, and he is like, well, why don't you go in there and check it out for us?
yeah, like he literally is like, "Oh, what are you doing here?" And he like tells him, and he goes, "Oh, well, why don't you have a wee look?" And like hands him a flashlight,
Because the
like,
kid
well,
snarked him.
yeah. And mind you, this is right after these miners had their like super uber drill, like their super automated drill. It backed up after making a hole into a chamber. So of course they're like, "Oh, we found a chamber. We got to see what's in there," which that's standard procedure when you're doing any kind of excavation. Okay, that makes sense. What's not standard procedure is going, "Oh, Quinn, why don't you have a wee look?" And handing him a flashlight, like, "Here you go, 10-year-old boy. Go
Yeah.
climb into this hole." Like, bro, you're getting paid for this shit. Why don't you climb in the fucking hole?
Yeah. So young Quinn climbs into this cavern and he's looking around. And as he walks, like something drips on the floor. It's a cave. Everything drips on the floor. And it immediately lights on fire. And he looks up and the wall moves and something rears back and spits in his face. Now, immediately everything goes blurry. He doesn't know what he's doing. He scrambles to the exit. He's like, there's something in there. There's something in there. There's something in there. And they're like, what? And the next thing you know, it's fire. Like they
Yeah.
run, he runs to his mom. He's like, "Oh my
Mhm.
god, what happened to you?" She's trying to rinse out his eyes,
Yeah,
and there's fire
he
burls
yeah,
out, and he's running, and his mom's like, "Let's go, we got to get up, we got to get up." So they take the elevator up the shaft that he just took down, up the shaft, and as they're going up, the fire's coming up underneath them, and the dragon that's crawling out of the pit, and it looks at the two of them, and Quinn screams, and then it shoots up past out of the pit, and then he's like, "Mom, mom," and his mom is dead.
yeah.
That's
Also,
the end of Alicia Krieg in this movie.
I will also say that something they show early in the movie that it doesn't matter till later on is the stuff that's dripping down initially starts dripping down, and then all of a sudden it starts lighting on fire when more shit drips down.
Mm-hmm.
And that is basically a precursor to us finding out that the dragons in this movie, um, they have two chemicals that they spray out of their mouth. One of them is a flammable substance. One of them is a substance that lights flammable things on fire.
Mm-hmm.
So it starts off with the dragon drooling flammable substance, which
And
is
he
also what
Quinn's
he what
lucky
it,
he's alive because it didn't mix it right.
yes, because dragon basically woke up and while still sleepy spat burnanady fluid in his face,
Mm-hmm.
and then shortly thereafter remembered that it had other fluid to use. So by the time his mother had rinsed out his eyes, which were very very red, so whatever this caustic substance is, it's corrosive. Like it does cause
Oh yeah.
inflammation, at least in human eyes it causes inflammation. But by the time his mother had rinsed that shit out, they're in the elevator to get out of the mining shaft, and then fire happens, and like the guy, like the guy who was like, "Oh, why don't you have a wee look?" Tried to light a cigarette, and the dragon's breath made their match go out, and then the guy with the cigarette tried to like look back at the hole and be like, "What the fuck?" And then he died because burninating.
Mm-hmm. So it does a montage about everything that happened. Quinn
Hmm.
is recording everything so
Yes.
people know the truth, what
Yes.
actually happened. And
Hmm.
they tried to fight them off, but the more they killed, the more spawned. And at one point, they're like, "Well, there's only one option we got to do, and it's the only option that happens in a post-apocalyptic scenario where there's no win. You just nuke them." So they
Right.
did, and nothing happened. It didn't even phase them.
Right, because with the dragons of this apocalypse, the dragons they feed off ash. They feed off the nutrients in ash. So if they find a cornfield, they will burn the cornfield and then eat the ash, and that is their sustenance. Oh, you nuked all the farming fields? Well, congratulations. What did you just do? You made a whole bunch of ash. So what do?
Oh, and
They
they'll eat you
fucking eat
just for
it.
spite.
Yeah, they eat it. And there's also the fact that um per the military in this movie, which this is one of the huge plot holes I have with this movie. We'll get into that later. I'm not
First
going to get
plot
into it right.
hole, big plot holes.
There's plot holes galore. Somehow the militaries of the entire planet couldn't figure out that doing things like burning crops bad, nuking things bad. They also couldn't figure out that these dragons apparently have a particular period of time where their eyesight goes to shit.
Yeah, there's some glaze. So getting a little ahead. So Quinn is writing, and he's going through everything, explaining everything that happened. Like I saw the first and
Yep.
everything like that. And
Yeah,
now we
because
just gotta survive. We'll be all right. We gotta keep going.
just a quick aside also for people who haven't seen the movie, Quinn, who is played by Kristen Bale,
Christian Bale.
um, Quinn was 12 years old when the first dragons popped up because
He's
that's
about
where that
32 according to the
yeah.
timeline here.
Yeah, that like he was 12 years old when his mother and her crew found their little underground hibernation hole, hidey place, whatever.
Apparently, it's
So
18 years afterwards, according to the
yeah,
wiki. So we'll
so
say
so
30. He's
yeah,
12.
so think of it this way: imagine being 12 years old and you're the one who saw the start of the apocalypse,
Yeah.
and you survived. That's basically Quinn.
Yep.
Is he saw the first dragons? he saw the start of the apocalypse and he lived through it and managed to become a leader of a community that's basically hiding out in an
In a
old ass
castle
castle.
somewhere in the UK. We don't know if it's Scotland, given the terrain that they're in.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
highly inclined to believe it's not the Highlands, but it's Lower Scotland.
It,
And,
it definitely strikes me as Lower Scotland just because of the fact that there are driving paths and stuff. It's not like, oh, well, if I want to drive to this castle, I need to go through like fucking mountainous terrain.
Mhm. So they're all hiding out in this castle and they're digging, and they have a bunker basically in the very bottom of the castle that's all wired with sprinklers. So if the dragons do attack, they go deep, they run and hide, and they turn on the sprinklers to, not roast alive. And the
Mm-hmm.
pipes won't melt because
Mm-hmm.
they're
Yep.
created by a guy who worked on blast furnaces.
Which, frankly, I will say this something that this movie does have that no other movie has. I've not run into any other movie that has this. It's a unique take on an apocalypse scenario because it's not zombies, it's not vampires, it's not
Hmm.
demons, it's fucking dragons.
It's
And
dragons.
yeah, and they have designed like, okay, this is our shelter. If dragons do attack our shelter, what do we do to survive? We have a fucking sprinkler system so we don't get burned alive.
Hmm.
That's fucking cool. That's
This
inventive.
is I really liked this movie because of the original take on a post-apocalyptic scenario. It's
Hmm.
depressing, but not the road depressing.
No, I mean you have to go really far to be the road
Like, I'm
depressing.
tired of zombie apocalypses. I'm tired of nuclear apocalypses. No, this one was actually dragons.
Hmm.
And it wasn't the fact that they wanted to do. They literally could not stop them from multiplying.
Right. Granted, that is one of the plot holes I have in the movie of like
Hmm.
how did no national government figure out how they
How did
reproduce? Like
scientists not basically figure it out? I mean, they were killing them
right,
for
right.
what,
That's
18
that,
years, and they didn't do any autopsies?
right. Like that's my thing is like, okay, the dragons first showed up in like 2000. 2002 is when we start seeing all the like the military footage and stuff of like, oh, they're destroying the world and blah blah blah. How how in like 20 years did no governments, scientists, or no international coalition of scientists come to the conclusion of like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, hold up, I'm noticing a trend here.
Yeah, there's that. This is like the first glaring plot hole.
Yeah, this is the first massive plot hole.
You got to have some serious, suspension of disbelief and just, okay, there's a lot of, you just got to accept some things in this film. Absolutely fantastic. So,
Also, can I just say in regards to things with this film, now that we're at the point of Quinn being in charge of the shelter, whatever you want to call it, we have Eddie and his family
mhm.
fucking everyone over.
And that's where I'm getting to next. So they're starving. Everybody's hungry. They're obviously not starving to death, but they're not full all the. They're not pleasantly full. They're
Right? Yeah.
always hungry. They're always on the verge. They get enough to eat so they don't starve to death, but they are on the verge.
Right.
And
Like
this
no
guy,
one's at the point of
no.
malnutrition, but everyone's at the point of they're always hungry.
So this guy named Eddie who has how many, like, six kids, and has a
It
wife,
was like
very
a wife and like 3 or 4 kids.
wife and three or four kids. He's like, I'm going to go out. We're going to pick the crop. And Quinn's like, you can't. If you pick it now, we won't germinate. We won't get any seeds out of it, and we won't have anything to plant next year. And he's like, well, there isn't going to be a next year if we starve to death. And Quinn takes the keys. He's like, well, you know what? You're free to go, but if you go, don't come back. And takes the keys to the truck that he was going to take and marches off.
Hmm.
Well, and Creedy, his best friend, Gerard Butler, love this guy
Yes.
in this
Yes.
movie. Love Creedy. And
Hmm.
just like one of those great side characters that deserves far more than attention than he got. It's
Yes.
like,
Agreed.
Quinn, you're my best friend, but even I hate you sometimes.
Yeah, like literally, Creedy is like, bro, like you're being a little too harsh, and like Quinn is just like, no, shut the fuck up. If they take the tomatoes now, we will have no tomatoes next year. So how the fuck do we feed people next year? And he goes like, bro, you're being a little too harsh. And he basically tells his best friend, like, dude, I hear you, but shut the fuck up.
Yeah. So goes through the motions, and they entertain some kids with, by the way, a play acted Star Wars. That was really cool.
Which was amazing. It was
Seeing the
it
kids'
was yeah.
excitement and like, I am the father, and I'm just like, oh, that's
Yeah,
so good.
that whole scene was literally the scene in Star Wars where Luke Skywalker is fighting Darth Vader, and Luke Skywalker says like, "I'll never join you. You killed my father." And then Darth Vader, which they call the Black Knight in the movie, and I believe they call Luke Skywalker the White Knight. But the Black Knight stops while they're fighting and says, "I am your father," after cutting his hand off, at which point the White Knight goes, "No!" And then that's when they tell them, "All right, kids, it's time for bed."
So everybody starts to head to bed and does stuff, and like settles down for the night, and there's a watchman upstairs. He has a falcon up there, and all of a sudden the falcon starts going ballistic, and
Which, by the way, the Falcon also started going nuts when Eddie and company went into the fields and a dragon was coming.
Yep.
So they do make it apparent that falcons, or at least various kinds of animals, it's just falcons are the only ones we see. Certain kinds of animals react to the presence of dragons, and they react in a panic sense. They don't react in like they don't
what
get
are you?
yeah, they don't get aggressive. They don't just go, "Oh, this is
They're like,
weird."
nope, I want to get out of here. I gotta
Yeah,
go.
like literally, these birds of prey basically react in the sense of, "Oh shit, oh fuck, I need to leave."
So Eddie tries to go down and harvest right before dawn.
Yes,
Um,
with a truck, by the
with a
way,
truck.
he steals a vehicle to
He
do this.
he took the keys back from Quinn and takes the vehicle. And they're like, okay, the dragon's coming. They all run deep, and he's like, where's these people? And a girl comes up who was obviously getting boned by one of his sons, and Eddie's sons, and says they went down to the fields. And Quinn looks.
Yeah, there's a point where Eddie and his family are in the fields, and he asks, "Where's so and so?" Like one of the other members of his family, and he says, "Oh, he's in this such and such area of the fields," and then all of a sudden,
The dragon attacks.
after the bird freaks out, the lookout sends like basically a what do you call it?
Sends the bird. He sends the bird out.
Well,
And
no, what's that?
Morse
the
code. He
telegraph.
uses Morse code as a.
Yeah.
It's incoherent. It's not actually sending a
Yeah,
message. It's
yeah.
really loud.
He uses Morse code to wake Quinn up, who then goes like, "Oh shit, we're under attack!" Blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden, someone goes, "Quinn, the fields," and it's a woman who is like one of Eddie's son's wives, who basically knows what's going on, and she's letting Quinn know like, this is where you can find them.
Yep. So they go out and they're in the fields picking, and they're like getting the things and taking bite. And by the way, hats off to them for growing tomatoes.
Yes,
Because out of everything they could have grown, they grew something that actually would help them in the long run and not help them not develop scurvy.
Right. Yeah. Honestly, like I feel like the things they should have been growing are tomatoes, potatoes, and then if they could, any kind of citrus. But like, granted, being in England, citrus is probably not probable. But tomatoes and potatoes would have been like primo.
And they probably used horse meat and bred horses for meat and everything like that. Which is
Probably.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, they had to get protein from somewhere, and if the dragons are eating everything, they probably had to do small horse breed.
Either that, or they were eating a lot of fucking mushrooms.
Yeah, that's dangerous. So they're in the field.
that is dangerous.
And the dragon gets one of Eddie's kids, and the dragon comes in. And man, the dragons are the CGI in this movie is actually pretty decent. It's not great, but it's good.
Yeah, the CGI in this movie does not hold up to modern standards, but considering when the CGI was made, it's not bad.
No, it's 2002 CGI. It's a step up from freaking Transformers Beast Wars. So they're in the field and the dragon attacks, and the dragon is roasting all of their food, like burning it to ash. And when this happens, they're like, Eddie and the kids are like, well, we're kind of screwed here. And then Quinn rolls up. Genius freaking thing here. They got two fireproof trucks. They're pumping water over the wheels to keep them wet so they can't melt and ignite. And they have a fire hose on the back of it. And the person who's using the fire hose is in a fireproof suit. And I'm sitting there like, that's cool. So they get the people out. They rush up. One of the guys died because he got eaten by the dragon, and the dragon's not following them. It's literally like Quinn's like, he doesn't want us. He wants the ash on that field. He burnt the field down so he can consume the ash. So they go back and they're like, well, we're kind of screwed. And Quinn is defeated. They lost half their crop because that was the only field they went to. They lost half of their crop. They're not sure how they're going to survive. And Quinn's just like, I don't know anymore. And McCready's like, you're not going off on me, are you? He's like, no, but here, drink this. You'll feel better. And it's alcohol. It's old rot gut. And like aged 2 weeks in a steel barrel. I'm like, and if you swallow it real quick, it'll only burn your gut on the way down and not your mouth. And I'm like, that's genius. Good on Creedy. So they can go through all of that, and next thing you know, there's another alarm, and Quinn's like, shit. Like, this can't get any worse. As he goes out, and you find out that it's not a dragon, it's people. And they're like, oh, great, marauders. Everybody starts arming and everything like that. And suddenly, you don't just see a few, you see like a column of military vehicles, and at the lead, a freaking tank. And this is where we get introduced to the best character in the movie, my personal favorite, Van Zandt, played by Matthew McConaughey. Still there, Tucho? 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 Tucho might have fallen asleep.
No, I'm here.
Okay, you good, buddy?
Yeah, I'm good, dude.
All right. So Van Zandt shows up, and he's like, we came in here, we lost half of our fuel, we landed on
Yep.
two engines,
Mhm.
we got a lot of problems, we need help. Can we come
Yep.
in and rest for a while?
Mhm.
And the next thing you know, they're like, yeah, sure. Quinn's just sees something in Van Zandt's eyes. Van Zandt's wearing a dragon tooth because Van Zandt's a dragon slayer. And they roll in, and he's like, what did you let them in? I don't know, like, right thing to do type dealy. And Quinn's like, watch the walls and stuff. And as this happens, they ideally do get a dragon attack. And they actually do something really cool. They use a helicopter, and people jump out of the helicopter as bait, bolo the dragons, which are like nets. They net the wings, have it crash land, and then they kill it. And I'm like, that's really cool. And unfortunately, it goes badly. They lose one of the guys. But they got the dragon, and everybody is celebrating. They got a dragon. Everybody's happy. They've got Jimi Hendrix playing, which, yeah, Hendrix right there. And Van Zandt's like, yeah, you live it up. How many people died today? This is a long going thing. We're losing. We're all gonna die if something isn't done. So you enjoy it up. You party. I'm gonna go bury my dead. And leaves, and they talk and everything like that. And then Quinn goes to Van Zandt, and you find out some interesting stuff about the dragons. Like, first of all the dragons are female except one. One dragon is a male, and the idea is that the females lay eggs, and the one dragon flies over and seeds them all. Okay, that's really cool. They get the napalm thing, two separate napalm glands, and yeah, so they're like, we're going to go to London. And Quinn's like, yeah, you go ahead. That's that way. And like the last time somebody went into London and tried to get in there, the dragon tracked them back to where they were, killed 90 people, and utterly annihilated where the people were living out of vengeance and spite for trying to come on his territory. So you go ahead and try that. And Van Zandt's like, well, you know what? We're dying anyways, and leaves. He's talking with Alex, the helicopter pilot, and she goes, I can't go to London. He's like, why? You've seen it, haven't you? He's like, my mom worked there. I saw, the whole beginning of the movie. He tells her, and then all of a sudden somebody pops in. By the way, the guy who played Bashir is in this movie from Star Trek DS9. Good actor. And he comes out and he's like, Quinn, we got a problem. And Van Zant's actively trying to recruit from the community. And Quinn's like, no, you can't do this. And a fight breaks out. Van Zant rightly beats the shit out of him. And Van Zant's not to be fun. Van Zant's nuts. But rightfully so. And some of them go with him, and Van Zant's crew moves out. And something's wrong with they finally make it. It cuts to Van Zandt and they're in Pembury. They reach the edge of Pembury and they're looking around, and these cars aren't just rusted out and burned, they're melted. And not a little melted. I'm talking, you can see the metal steel where it cooled still pooling at the base. And the guys are like, oh, the nukes must have done this. All of a sudden Van Zandt looks around and goes, nukes didn't do this. And the bull attacks. And I'm not talking a little attack, I'm talking a really big attack. He comes in a single pass and torches the entire column. Van Zandt is the only one that survived because he hid under the thing with the thickest armor, the tank. Everything else was melted and burned down. Everything else was reduced to ash. The people were reduced to ash, and Alex flies in. What the hell happened? And Quinn comes up and he's like, what the hell happened? Okay. And then, oh shit, the settlement. And they go back, and Quinn's there and he's sneaking back. He's like, oh shit. As he hears the dragon flying overhead, he books back, and just the settlement gets ravaged by the bull. Not a little bit, absolutely destroyed. And he's going through, and the dragon flies. He sees the dragon fly away. And he's going through, and he's like, okay, everybody's going down deep because it was just an attack. So, they go down deep. And then they're like, okay, we got everybody. There's still some people up there. He's arguing with Creed. He's like, there's still some people up there. He's like, don't you do anything. I'll stay here. I'll take care of this. You stay here. So Quinn tosses him a fire extinguisher. Just then, you'll see the bull dragon land on their castle and breathe down through it. And at that point, you hear it, and Creedy looks back. Their door for the basement slams shut, and Creedy dies, burns. I guarantee you, there was nothing left after that. The next thing you see is he's praying and doing their little prayer that they have, banging on the door, and goes through. And okay, this is just bad. And Creedy's there, and it's Van Zandt. Even Van Zandt has a look on his face, was like, dude, I really fucked up with this one. And Van Zandt's doing his thing and heads back. Tucho, you still there? Tucho. I think he fell asleep. He had a long day. We'll let him nap. So Van Zandt continues to go. Van Zandt comes back, and he comes out, and the kids are all like, what the hell happened? And he looks at the kid he raised after he saved him when he was 3. And he's like, you watch over them. I'm going to finish this. So whatever happens, happens. You take care of everything from now on. And he looks at Van Zandt's like, all right, I raided the armory. We got this, and a couple of explosive arrowheads because they probably were tucked somewhere safe that wouldn't get hit by anything. And he's like, all right, fly in close to the ridge, park in the Thames. No one will see you coming in. You'll be good to go. And there's some tunnels. I can get you into the city from there. He goes through the tunnels, and Van Zandt comes up with a plan. They fight in the same plaza that his mom died in, where he originally went down into where the dragon came out of. And they're fighting in the plaza. Van Zandt's like, okay, to use these arrows, you got to be right in the heat of the fire. You got to be standing right in front of it. So Van Zandt's just like, okay, you're going to go first. He's got to pass, and you have time to run and find a new place to be. So Van Zandt, Quinn goes first and goes to his spot. Van Zandt goes second. He's going to be up on a water tower to get a good shot. And the chick, Alex, is last, and she goes. Van Zandt's on the top of the water tower and drawing the dragon to him, and he aims it. The dragon breathes and he gets the explosive off and he roasts half of its face, but he didn't get it in the mouth. You need to hit it in the mouth, like right in the
Yo.
furnace.
Luke.
Yes.
Food.
Should I go?
I tried a new seasoning. It's a little salty. Let me know.
Okie dokie.
You okay, buddy?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay.
Got
So,
some pizza.
ooh, nice. I had homemade meatball subs for dinner.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
So Van Zandt's on the top of the tower. And man, let me tell you, even right now, he had a vest on. No, there's no vest. He tosses the vest off. You see the pack Matthew McConaughey riddled with all these tattoos. And I'm just like, that's fucking awesome. As you know, he misses, and then Van Zandt has his badass axe, because what Dragon Slayer doesn't have a badass axe? So he goes up and the dragon spins around again and comes at Van Zandt. And Van Zandt does the only thing he's gonna do. He knows he's gonna die. So he immediately runs off of the platform and leaps through the air with the axe in hand, and the dragon eats him and flies off. At this point, Quinn and Alex have seen all this and they're like, fuck. But Quinn's not giving up. He's like, okay, well, I'll get the arrows and we'll do everything we can. So he runs out and he does it, but he's having trouble getting the crossbow to retract enough to him to load it. So he runs back, and Alex comes out and like fires and distracts the dragon a little bit with a M16. Like that's
yeah. She unloads the M16 on him.
And then Quinn's standing there in the breath of the fire, and the dragon goes to breathe. Quinn fires, gets it right in its mouth, and it explodes. And I gotta say, the battle damage that they did graphics-wise on this is fantastic. You can actually see the ribs cooked through and everything, and he kills the bull dragon.
Absolutely.
And he kills the bull dragon. It cuts to a few months later. They're putting Quinn is putting up a radio tower on a hill. And the kid rides up, the kid that raised him, and he's like, hey, they want to talk to the person in charge. I'm like, well, that's you. Well, they're speaking French. He's like, don't ask me. I'm good bad at French. And then Alex is like, well, how do you think they'll be, so what do you think's going to happen now? Well, we haven't seen one for months and months. What's best of all is the sky is clear and blue, which is probably something we haven't seen in ages because there's no ash kicking up anymore. Things are regrowing. Natural state of growth.
100%.
And then at the end of the movie, they walk off into the sunset. This is not a high-tier, deep, in-depth movie.
No.
It is unbelievably fun and a great checkout to watch for a couple hours when you just want to get away from the real world. Now, I have done a review on Criticalist, so we're going to go over the Criticalist reviews today.
Yep, I did a review on Criticalist as well, so we'll go over that.
I gave it a 79%. It's not great. The acting saved it more than the glaring plot holes of this film. But we got a modern spin on on dragons in a post-apocalyptic setting. Honestly, original and creative, completely up there, set up. Okay, we got Touch of Oblivion, gave a review, good review. Touch of Oblivion gave a good review. This isn't an in-depth movie. We're gonna give you a like up. Dirty Deeds gave it a 39%. We'll give you a like. It's not a yep. See, Jolty P.
39% is a little harsh, but I can't blame him.
No, I can't blame him. Opinionated Normie. Yep, that just gets a 90%. It's a low budget B film. It had a $60 million budget, made $82 million in the box office. Seriously, we honestly need less budget, more movies that are just like this.
Yep.
100%. 62%. Just watched the film set up in 2020. You can tell it's fictitious. Yeah. So this is just a great movie if you want to hang out and you want to do stuff. You just want a Sunday night.
Yeah, 100%.
You got a Saturday, you got a couple hours on a Saturday to kill. It's worth watching whenever it pops up on stream. If
Yeah.
you really are like a hardcore Christian Bale fan or something, I guarantee you'll find out. You'll find it on Blu-ray or DVD. But
Mhm.
no, that's it. It didn't have a big budget. It has some really low key actors in it, which is fantastic. It deserved more attention than it got, but I honestly can't blame them because it's a B movie. It came out in a
Oh,
very
oh
flooded
yeah.
movie
I was about to say also considering what else that came out alongside, like there's so many like AAA like top tier movies that came out at the same time this shit did. Like surprise, people looked over Rain of Fire because they were too busy looking at things like,
Lord of
Two
the
Towers and
Rings. Lord of
stuff.
the Rings was in movie theaters for what, like 3 months, 4 months?
Uh-huh.
You also had a Star Wars movie opening that year, like the second Star Wars movie in like 40, 30 years at that point. And there was a lot of stuff. But no, there was a lot of stuff in that movie. The CGI was good. The acting was stellar. There's glaring potholes, but the dialogue was actually pretty good. Matthew McConaughey is fucking badass in this flick.
Yes. Honestly, my biggest issue with the film is just the glaring potholes because
Oh yeah.
like they're not even like minor potholes. They're just like, oh, but you can just ignore that. Like no, they're glaring fucking plot holes.
Pretty big glaring potholes. But no, that's pretty much all we got for this week. It's not a crazy big. Next week though, we're doing a little bit of nostalgia. We're doing Camp Nowhere. Came
Hell
out in
yeah.
1994. Um, it's got Christopher Lloyd in it. It's got the guy who played Biff Tannen in it. It is an absolutely fun movie. It came out, oh god, in 1994. I
Yeah, it's an old
was
movie.
11 or 12, so it's old, but it is unbelievably fun. It has glaring plot holes, but it's a kids movie. It's not designed to make sense. It's a giant what happens if you let kids run alone on a freaking
Right, exactly.
camping thing? And it's absolutely fun because
I mean,
every
I
kid
mean,
wanted to do that at some
like
point.
you said, this film came out in 1994. You said
Mm-hmm.
I was born in 1986, so I was 18. I was 8 years old when this fucking movie came out, and I'm pretty sure that I saw it at least once, and I enjoyed it as a kid. So
You're
like,
gonna love it as an adult because there are points to be like, man, I still wish I was that kid. All right,
yeah,
but
because I feel that's the problem with a lot of kids movies is that like adults look at them and go like, "Fuck, man! Like, I wish I was still, I wish I was still at the point where this movie would be like phenomenal to me."
yeah, it still is phenomenal to me, dude. Like it's got a young Jessica Alba in it, young Jessica Mack,
Does it
Allison Mack,
really? That's
young
fucking
Jessica Alba,
cool.
young
That's
Allison Mack.
cool.
It's got some really good actors and some really early talent in it,
Oh
and it's
yeah,
great to see.
that's
But
awesome.
that's what we are doing this
Mm.
next week.
Yes.
And you all have a great rest of your day. If you like what you heard here for Rain of Fire, by all means, please go out and watch it. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll straight up say like, I know I opened this on my end. I opened it saying this is the shittiest movie that we've looked at since we started doing these movie reviews. That doesn't mean this is a bad movie. It's not.
no,
If you want a fun post-apoc action movie, this is a great movie. It's really fun. You get some great performances from some really good actors, including Matthew McConaughey, Christian Bale, all those people, Gerard Butler.
even a
Yeah,
5 minutes of Alicia Krieg.
yeah, exactly. Um, I'm not saying that this is a bad movie. It's not a bad movie. Um, so like for real, if you're gonna take this as like opportunity to like, oh, I want to see that movie, please watch Rain of Fire. It's a good especially if you're just chilling on your own and you're like, you know what, I'd love an action movie to just kind of vibe with while I'm like chilling after a day of work or chilling on vacation or like I don't have anything else to do but I want to watch a movie. You know what? Rain of Fire is a great movie. It really is. because you'll finish that movie and then be like, all right, that was a good movie. It wasn't bad. It wasn't awful. And now I can do insert other thing here. It's not a bad movie. It's a really good, like, just chill, enjoy your time for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and relax. Like it's a great movie.
So we'll do Camp Nowhere next week, and then
Mhm.
we start Swashbuckling September.
Yes, which I'm
And
super, super
we
excited
are going
for.
to have some fantastic films next month. Films you might never have heard of, old Disney films that are absolutely still hold up better than any of the new Disney films.
Yeah, hell
Uh,
yeah.
Princess Bride will be there. We get some young
Yes.
Henry Cavill. We have so much happening coming next month. I can't wait. But for now, thank you all for watching. I will be doing a full review of Nemo this week. The first season of Nemo finally finished. So I will watch it through Monday and Tuesday.
What's the first season of Nemo? Is it
It's a
you,
it seems to
you
be
say
a
Nemo and I think of like the Pixar
it
movie.
seems to be a prequel to 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Oh.
And it looks interesting, and I want to give it a chance because it flew under a lot of radars. So I'm going to do a full review of that, and if the full review video does well, I'll do a episode review, but we'll give it a couple days.
Okay, okay.
But
Okay.
Nemo review will be this week. I found some information on talks of maybe a new Rocketeer reboot with Billy Campbell. That video is coming up tomorrow,
Okay.
and I got some other stuff for you this week. So if you want to hear more about the low-key stuff that's typically not covered by the big channels, hit that like, hit that sub button. Follow me on X if you want some unbelievably savage takes that aren't censored by
Bro,
YouTube.
don't call it X. Call it Twitter, please. For the love of God. Please call it Twitter. Don't call it X. Elon's a fucking piece of shit. Don't call it X.
All right. And on that note, this is where we end, and I will catch you all later. Have a good night.
Bye, Jim.